Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 1, Chapter 8.2, Notes. Today we are talking about the power of a property rule. Our learning target today is to be able to use the power of a power property. Okay, so power of a property, what is that? Well, when a power is raised to another power, the base stays the same, and you must multiply or distribute the exponents. Here's why. So, a to the third all to the second power. Okay? Remember, an exponent, which is the 2 right here, tells us how many of the bases we have. Okay? So, we have 2 of the a to the thirds. Okay? And remember that we multiply those two. And we talked about this the other day, where if we wrote this out in expanded form, look at all those a's. Okay? We have a total of a to the 6th. Now, if we did that the short way, 3 times 2, because that's what our two numbers are right there, that gives us a to the 6th. And that's why it's a nice shortcut, so we're not sitting there writing out all of those a's. That's a lot of work. So, key thing, here's something that we have to remember, okay? You may never distribute an exponent if there's an addition or subtraction inside the parentheses. Okay, never, ever, ever. Okay, so directions say to simplify each expression. So remember that we multiply those numbers. 3 times 5 gives us a to the 15th. 8 times 2 gives us x to the 16th. 4 times 7 gives us y to the 28th. Okay, number 4. 2 times 3, or 3 times 5, I'm sorry, gives us 2 to the 15th. And since that's a number, we can actually solve that thing using our calculator. Okay? So we got to turn it on. 2 raised to the 15th power. Look at that. 32,768 is our answer for that one. Okay? So distribute the exponent. 2 times 3 is, oh, sorry about that. The negative 3 stays the same. 2 times 3 is 6. And then once again, we can figure that out. Just type it exactly as it is written. So negative 3 to the 6th power gives us 729. And let's see if you guys can do 6. So go ahead and pause the video and see how you do. Okay, so 2 times 2 gives us 4. And the negative 6 to the 4th power is 1,296. Okay, so the power of a product and power of a quotient property. So what's it saying is you can distribute an exponent to powers that are being multiplied or divided, but never to powers, see this word, never to powers that are added or subtracted. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So just like in our example above, when we first started talking about this, we would have a to the third and b. But we would have two of those because that's what our little exponent is telling us. We have two of those. Okay, so the top would be a times a over b, and we would multiply that with a times a over b, which gives us a to the sixth b squared. Okay, now if we were to multiply that right away, 3 times 2 would give us a to the sixth, and remember that that's a 1. 1 times 2 would give you 2. Okay, so you're getting the same thing, it's just a little shortcut. Okay, so you can distribute the exponent here. Okay, this example right here and here. Okay, because there's no, everything right there is multiplication or division. Okay, so yay, we can do those. But here, we can't because addition or subtraction. Okay, so we got to be careful with that. All right, simplify each expression. Now, remember, if there's no number, no exponent, there's always a 1. Okay, so you just have to make sure to distribute that to all of those, which gives us 2 to the fourth, a to the fourth, and b to the fourth. Okay, and you can simplify 2 to the fourth power, which is 16. So it's really saying 16 a to the fourth, b to the fourth as your final answer. Okay? All right. So once again, that 3 is a 1, and so is the y. And distribute the 2 to everything, which would give us 3 squared x to the 12th y to the second power. Okay? And that changes to 9x to the 12th y squared, because 3 squared, 3 to the second power, is really 9. Okay? So distribute that 2 to everything, which gives us 2 squared x to the 10th y to the 6th, and then 2 squared is really 4. Okay, so we just got to make sure to distribute to everything. All right, number 10. Remember, if there's no number there, there's always a 1. Okay, so distribute the 2, which would give you 2 squared over 3 squared, which is the same thing as 4 over 9. Okay, now just make sure that that 3 goes to everything inside the parentheses. That's a negative 2 to the third power x cubed w cubed. Okay, when you're doing that exponent, remember to put it inside the parentheses to the third power, which gives us negative 8 x cubed y cubed. All right, and number 12. Distribute to everything, which gives us 6 squared w squared over 3 squared m to the 8th 6 squared is 36. 3 squared is 9. And you might be like, hey, we're done. No. 36 divided by 4, we can actually do that. And 36 divided by 4, or by 9, I just said the answer, is 4. So 4w squared m to the 8th. Okay? Key thing is always reduce when you can. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and flip it over. Now we're going to be combining all of our properties below. Okay? We've talked about the product of properties when you multiply the numbers out. And when you multiply, you actually, that should be an addition sign. Quotient is when you subtract them. And the power of properties is when you distribute and multiply. Okay? So there are examples of all three of those all in here. Okay? So there are your examples. Now, let's start working with some of these together. All right, simplify each expression. Now, the first thing that we would do here would be to distribute that. And we would get 4 to the third x to the 6th times x to the 5th. Okay, so from this point, we would need to know what 4 to the third is, which is 64. So we get 64. And then we would combine the x's right there to get x to the 11th. Okay? Remember, we're trying to make these simpler, easier to read, easier to understand. Okay? So we would distribute first. Remember that -5 inside the parentheses. 6 times 2 is 12 times m to the third. -5 squared gives us a positive 25. And you add your m's, and you get m to the 15th. Okay? Remember, if you're having trouble, just type it directly into the calculator as you see it, and it'll tell you the answer. Okay? So we have to just distribute the 4 to everything. -2 to the 4th power, x to the 12th. And then -2 raised to the 4th is 16. So we get 16x to the 12th. Now, if you guys want to try any of these on your own, just pause the video, see how you do. Okay? I'm going to go through each one of them. So we have to distribute, and we get 9 squared w to the 10th over 9. And remember, that 9's to the first power. Now, if you wanted to multiply that out, well, we can reduce those right there. Okay? And who wins, the top or the bottom? The top wins, and the top wins by 1. So it's just 9w to the 10th. Okay. Number 17. Distribute first, and you get 9 to the 6th over 9 to the n to the 7th. Sorry, n, not 9. Okay. Well, who wins, top or bottom? The bottom wins. So 1 on the top, and an n on the bottom. Distribute to everything, and you get 2 to the 4th, m to the 4th, and n to the 4th. Now you can do 2 to the 4th power. We've done it a couple of times already, so hopefully you know it by now. If not, just plug it in. And now, can we subtract the m and the n? No, because they are different variables. All right. Number 19. Go ahead and distribute the x, or the square, so you get y squared, x squared, and x squared. And now, when you subtract those, the x's, those actually cancel out, and you're just left with y squared. Okay. A lot of work to do on this one, so let's go ahead and distribute everything. We get 2 to the third, x to the third, y to the ninth, all over 4x to the fifth, y to the seventh. Okay, so let's do a couple of things here. 2 to the third is 8. Okay, so that's the first thing that we did. Now, who wins for the x's, the top or the bottom? Okay, the bottom wins, and the bottom wins by 2. And who wins with the y's, the top or the bottom? Well, the top wins, and the top wins by 2. But now, can you reduce that? 8 divided by 4? We can. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Y squared, x squared. And that's going to be our final answer. All right, and number 21. Distribute. You get m to the 6th, n to the 15th. The bottom stays the same. And then who wins with the m's, top or bottom? Okay, the top wins by 2. And what about with the n's? The top wins, and the top wins by 13. And there's your final answer. Okay. Well, that's going to be it for Algebra 1, Chapter 8.2 Notes, the power of a property. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself, because we would love to help you out. Thanks for watching.